Disclaimer: this video was made with pure intention to provide information for those interested, and if possible, suggest possible areas that can be improved. All information is only correct as of when this video was made.
Hello! So, after 9 months, I'm finally done with my freshman year in NTU, and with that, all the core mods I was supposed to take as a communication major. So today, I just thought I'd be giving you a little bit of my opinion on all the core courses that I've taken.
A bit of information for those who are unfamiliar. As a graduation requirement, you will have to complete 127 AUs, or academic units. 20 of them are from core modules, 41 are major electives, 34 are ICCs, so NTU's general education modules, and 32 are outside your majors. The courses we're discussing come partly from the core portion and the ICC portion. For each course, there are two main types of classes, lectures and tutorials. Lectures cover general concepts, while tutorials discuss them further. Attendance for tutorials is usually recorded as part of the final grades.
First up, we have CS0201, Foundational Communication Studies, also known as FOCS. It is a 3 AU mod that covers communication principles, theories, concepts, which acts as a basis for your future study. For this course, you'll be attending a weekly lecture and a tutorial. You'll have to complete 2 quizzes, a group project, and a reflective paper. I'm gonna put this one as neutral just because it doesn't leave me such a strong impression as some of the classes. I mean, I don't particularly hate it, but then I also don't like it. I think it is mainly because the first half of the semester was just basically watching lectures and doing meetings, so there wasn't anything much for you to get into your head that there's this module that you have to care about. And then after recess week, you start to have a lot of things coming in. So you have quizzes, you have group projects. I just feel like they were just very fast, the amount of time that you have for all those things. So I think that's the reason why it didn't leave me with such a strong impression. Apart from the fact that it was mainly principles and theories, so not particularly interesting. One thing that stood out for me from this course was the fact that the quizzes is super hard. Many of the questions are in the readings, so you actually have to do readings. And many of the questions are the things that are briefly discussed in tutorials. So they are not even in tutorial slides, but they're just things that you kind of discuss, or maybe the pieces of information that a tutor give out to you within that class. So I think I remember there was a time when we discussed whether Chinese characters are arbitrary symbols or not. Some people were saying that it's not arbitrary because the characters kind of symbolize the meaning of the words, and some people say that it's still very arbitrary. That was one of the questions in the quiz. It was basically asking, so what was the conclusion of the discussion that we had in class about Chinese characters? I didn't know if we actually came to a conclusion or not, but even if we did, it was just a very brief moment. So it was really hard because you actually had to pay attention in all tutorials to actually do well in the quiz. Next up, we have CS0204, Basic Media Writing, also known as BMW. It is 3 AU and it is an introductory course to different forms of media writing. Similar to a previous course, you'll also be attending a lecture and a tutorial every week. You'll have various quizzes and writing exercises, including a group project. To be honest, I didn't really like it when I was studying it, mainly because I didn't like writing, but now come to think about it, it was actually a pretty helpful module. So basically in that course, they covered different types of writing, 1/3 of the course was basically journalism, writing for news, and then you also got to learn PR writing, you got to learn writing for broadcasting, writing for videos and stuff. And I really like how everything was explained in great detail. So they gave you examples, they give you sample text for you to analyze, and I just feel like throughout the course, I actually knew what I needed to do. So overall, I just think that it was a very helpful module that introduces you to different types of writing. So I don't know. It's somewhere between yes and neutral, but I'm gonna put it as neutral for now. Next up, we have CS0209, Media Law, Ethics and Policy, also known as medlaw. This course preps you to avoid legal troubles when working in the future. You will be studying laws and policies related to the media, including topics such as defamation, copyright, media regulations. There are weekly recorded lectures and face-to-face tutorials. The grading criteria is very simple. You have 2 quizzes, 40 and 45% each, in addition to participation in weekly quizzes. This is definitely one of my favorite classes among the things that I've taken. I think that the lectures are not too outstanding or too interesting or anything, but I really enjoy the tutorials. So basically for tutorials, you'll be coming to class, there will be a case and probably give you different questions to kind of guide you through the process of analyzing that case. And what made it particularly interesting was the fact that, you know, throughout the process of like answering questions, you kind of explore different things that are very unexpected. So I think that's what made it really interesting. But then there are only 2 tests for this class, and they're really hard because there are so many things that you will have to remember. Like, you just have to like try your best, like try to remember as much as possible. There's no like, you should do this more, you should do this more to kind of do well in this class. So I think a lot of people struggle with this course in terms of grades. I was lucky enough to get pretty good grades, but I think that even if I got bad grades, it's still one of the classes that are actually interesting. And it's kind of a living proof that a class doesn't necessarily have to be like easy and manageable to be an interesting class. So for this one, it's definitely up there. Yeah. The next course we are talking about is CS2400, Foundation of Info Analytics, also known as Info. It is 3 AU and it's essentially a stats course. So math, you have 2 weekly lectures, you have to do 2 tests, 1 group project and 1 individual project to complete. I feel like this is one of those underappreciated courses because math is not really anyone in vietnamese favorite, but I personally kind of enjoyed it because I just felt like it was challengingly fun. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Throughout the course, you have 2 lectures per week and you also have to do some readings, you have to do some exercises and stuff. And I just feel like the lectures are pretty tedious because it was just like basically like math all along, so there wasn't anything that was like engaging or interesting. Like towards the end of the course, only half of the class was like taking live lectures and the rest was just like watching the recorded ones. Honestly, I feel kind of bad that I didn't attend all the live lectures because Prof was really nice, but I just cannot like process so much information at like 9:30 in the morning. So towards the end, I just decided to save time and watch a recorded lecture. I know that it's good to know a little bit of everything, especially when it comes to like data and stuff, but I feel like it's a bit too difficult for those who are not interested in like info analytics at all. But then at the same time, it's a bit too easy for those who want to pursue professional data analytics and stuff. So for this one, I'm just going to put it as neutral. Last but not least, we have CS2005, Speech and Argumentation, also known as Speech. This is a course that teaches you how to make good public speeches because, well, public speaking is important. You have weekly lectures and tutorials, and for this course you have to do 2 speeches, 1 informative and 1 persuasive. There will also be a quiz at the end of the semester. Okay, I want to try to be as unbiased as possible. So the main problem I have with this class was that it was very unclear what they expected from you. So within the materials, they cover different things like, you know, how to structure your speech, how to form arguments, you know, different things like you have to keep eye contact, you have to be confident. Some of the things I think are pretty helpful, especially the part where they teach you different forms of speeches, of informative speech, persuasive speech, and how you can organize those kind of speeches. But some of them, I just feel like they're pretty common sense. Like, you have to keep eye contact, you have to be confident, things like that. I just feel like they're pretty common sense. They are not clear enough. They're just telling you that you have to do these kind of things. And also when it comes to speeches, there are many different ways to deliver a speech effectively. So the grading criteria is just saying things like forming persuasive arguments, effective body language and stuff. But then it was very unclear because after I watched my classmates, I feel like all those speeches kind of fall onto a spectrum. So in terms of citation, for example, on one end you have the kind of like more like TED Talk speeches where people mainly use speech and emotion to persuade the audience. On the other side, you have the kind of like research papers in speech form. So they have a lot of citation, they have a lot of research paper, they have a lot of quotes and stuff. And at the end of the day, I still didn't know what was considered effective, what they were looking for exactly. And also one personal problem I had with this class was the fact that if you watch one of my earlier videos, I think like the midterm week video, I was trying really hard to kind of internalize the entire speech because I didn't want to rely too much on like the scripts or anything. So I literally did not bring any script at all. And I also tried to keep my slide to only like a few words, a few concepts, and then I got the feedback saying that I was looking at the screen too often. I just feel really mad because I literally put so much effort into trying not to look at the screen at all. And I still got feedback saying that I'm relying too much on the script, even though I didn't have any scripts at all. I did email prof asking, like, maybe I was unconsciously looking at the screen too often, so I did ask, but I didn't get a reply, and the second speech was just like a week after that. So like towards the end, I just wanted to be done and over.
Yes, very sad.
Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to put basic media writing onto yes, because after all the analysis of speech, I feel like it deserves that spot. So yeah, that's basically how I would rate all of the core mods I've taken during my freshman year.